At Relentless Upstarts, we will break down why the only human being you should put your trust in is yourself. We will provide profound evidence for ancient texts to illustrate why this statement was true back then and still is today. Let's start with this photo. Here's a photo of rap icon, the late Tupac Shakur. In this photograph, he's seated in a hotel room surrounded by people he thought were his close friends at the time, not realizing that they did not have his best interests at heart. They were in fact his enemies, who eventually led him to his demise. In this photo, Ayanna Jackson, who later accused Tupac of rape, is seated next to him, while the man who allegedly robbed and shot him at the Quad recording studio is seated behind him, and his manager, who set him up, is seated beside him. In the Holy Scripture 1 Samuel 16:7 states, "People look at the outward appearance, but God looks at the heart." So often, we are quick to choose our so-called friends and associates based on their outward appearance, such as their enticing words or smile, when instead, we must look beyond the surface. On the right of this photograph is the late John Lennon from the Beatles, one of the most successful musical bands in history. In this photo, John Lennon took a photograph and signed an autograph for this man on the left, who he believed was just another fan. But little did he know that just a few hours after this photo was taken, this man would end up taking his life by shooting him multiple times. Stories like this should serve as a reminder to be cautious about who you invite into your life. Historians consider Napoleon Bonaparte to be one of the greatest military generals of all time, and part of what cemented his reputation in history was his refusal to place his trust in man. As one of his famous quotations on the subject states, "Friends must always be treated as if one day they might be enemies." Let me repeat. Friends must always be treated as if one day they might be enemies. It is critical that we stay cautious about who we allow into our circle, not only of acquaintances and associates, but also of family members. The tragic death of soul music icon Marvin Gaye, who was killed by none other than his own father, made headline news on April 1st, 1984. His father shot him after an argument. It was later revealed that the father's jealousy of his son, who was the family's main breadwinner, was the primary motive behind that horrific act. The ancient biblical texts also provide numerous examples of how jealousy can spread not only among acquaintances and associates, but also among family members, as in the stories of Judas portraying Jesus, Cain murdering his brother Abel, and Joseph being beaten and sold into slavery by his brothers. This video is not intended to encourage you to isolate yourself from the rest of the world, but rather to avoid putting your trust in people, which almost always results in disappointment. We've now reached the end of this video. Please press the like and subscribe button. Also, click on the notification bell for more updates from Relentless Upstarts. Peace and love.